Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury. Oz is behind the camera. And is Taylor in the back room? Oh, he's not. He's on the phone. He's probably doing deals, wheeling, dealing. This video, we are thinking like summer school. I've got to go away and I thought I'd leave you with a few lessons and also bring to your attention this incredibly affordable keyboard from Casio called the CDP S110. I was taught an amazing lesson and it was about being told to learn a song that had all these components in that were going to help me become a better player. And there was a chap called Will Shackleton who I lived with in Aldershot back in the day next to the Heroes of Lucknow pub. What a name. I can remember really looking up to his playing. I felt like, oh God, this guy's got loads of ideas and no chords seem to stump him. And I can remember asking him, is there a song I should learn? And out of nowhere he said, Just the Two of Us. And at the time I really did think it was a Will Smith song, because I knew the sample. But you know, the Bill Withers classic, if you don't know it, go listen to it. And if you don't like that song, I get it. But the whole point of this video, thankfully, Oz clarified this for me. It's this idea of, I was given this wisdom of learning a song that I didn't really know what I was going to get from it until I walked down that path and started seeing some of the wisdom that song could teach me. I play it a lot in my videos as well. That's another reason for doing this. If I'm ever forced to demo a piano and I've got a blag sounding a bit jazzy, this is one of my go-to things. And often I can disguise it. I'm so comfortable with it that you might not even know what I'm playing. So it goes a little bit something like this in its simplest level. C major 7, B dominant 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, B dominant 7, E minor 7. If you didn't know, I'm just going to give you a bit of a crooning version. I see the crystal rain just fall on the beauty of it all. That's when the sun keeps shining through. And that's the repeating pattern, apart from the fruity. But that is a lesson in itself, we might get there. Now, why is this song important? It's because it's got an amazing mix of major 7s, dominant 7s, and minor 7 chords. And the other big thing it's got in there is the archetypal use of the 2-5-1. Now, if you're coming from other genres or you've heard 2-5-1 about jazz, again, I'm not a jazz guy, but he snuck in the vegetables with this one. It's like, you know, I'm not into tomatoes, but he managed to find a way to get it into the sauce for me. First way is how to voice these different types of chords, the major 7s and the minor 7s and the dominant 7s. What are we talking about when we talk about 7s? Whenever there's a number involved, it's referring to a degree in the scale. So if I say C major 7, that means that I need to put in the 7th note of the scale somewhere. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's B. So a classic way to do it is play C basic triad, which is C, E, G, and then put the 7 on top. We can do that through the whole chord sequence. C major 7, B dominant 7, E major 7. Again, okay, that's pretty samey. I learnt that I can move that 7 around. So maybe I can put it down here instead. And instead of, I'm playing this C already. So I've got it in my left hand. So why not omit that? And I'll just play this shape, which is B, E, G. Instead of, or a lot of the time I kind of like doubling that one up. But there, and let's keep the same relationship throughout the whole chord sequence. Extensions, where to put them within your chord, it's great because it gets you going through the major 7s, the dominant 7s, and the minor 7s, which come up all the time if you're reading chord charts. Even with those first 3 chords, a major 7, dominant 7, and a minor 7. Now here's the 2-5-1 bit that I didn't know I was learning. The bit of that chord sequence is the 2-5-1, is after that E minor 7 is the D minor 7 to the G7 to the C major 7. And that's a 2-5-1 progression. Why is that? Because we're going to end up hitting the C, but before we get to the C, we're going to play the second degree, the 2, and then if you go 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll go up to G, and that D minor 7 to the G7, that is 2, 5, and then the 1 is C. And sometimes when I was trying to learn about 2-5-1s, I'd always get stuck there. And I used to think, everyone would say, oh, jazz is just a bunch of 2-5-1s, it's a bunch of 2-5-1s. And because I don't really listen to jazz, this was the way that I learned how it happens. And I've done a video on this years ago, which is how to use 2-5-1s in just normal pop songs or put them in. And you can see this in the structure. So let's go through from the beginning again. We've got C major 7, B dominant 7, got that E minor 7, and here comes the 2-5-1. 2-5-1 in there. And that's happening because we've got up to this E minor, but whenever there's a distance of a major third, and if you're getting lost, don't worry, just go have fun somewhere else. Because this is getting music theory, but it really helped me, and again, thanks to Will for learning this song. I figured out that when I go down a major third in a chord sequence, which is from E to C is a major third, I can always fit in a 2-5-1. So instead of just going, I can go, and you hear that all the time in lo-fi hip-hop music at the moment. And often if you are playing a song like Stand By Me is a good example. The night is gone, the land is dark. I know that it's going to go from A to F, and that distance is a major third. So I know I can go 2-5-1. Whenever you see that gap, you can insert the 2-5-1, and just the two of us taught me that. I'll do it again. 2-5-1. So we've learned all our extensions, major, minor, dominant. We now know, oh, 2-5-1. And then once I got comfortable with that carcass, here's a few things to spice it up for you, all right? Let's go back to that 2-5-1. You'll often hear, instead of that, you'll hear this. All that is putting an extra chromatic chord in between. So you'll hear me play an E minor 7, and instead of going straight to the D minor 7, we're gonna go down all just one semitone, and then to the G7. So let's, and back to give it a frame of reference, I took that to something like Stand By Me. It's gone, and the land is dark, and the mountains. And sometimes you hear that a lot in like Bruno Mars pop arrangements. It's 101 is to put that in there, but we can do that in just the two of us. I think in the chorus as well, that's what makes it the chorus. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try, just the two of us. Whereas in the verse, I see the crystal rain just fall on the beauty of it all. It doesn't put that chromatic step in. And I was like, oh, that's a little bit of wisdom in there. Here's some ways to fruit up that chromaticism, which is instead of just playing the E minor 7 like this is how I play it when I'm being really posh, which is this voicing. E, B, F sharp, and then with my thumb, I'm gonna play G and A. I'm gonna put a B in with my index finger, middle finger on D, pinky on F sharp. That's a really beautiful, I snicked that from D'Angelo. That's how D'Angelo plays E minor 9 a lot. And again, when you see an E minor 7 chord, often you can slip in the 9. It's like, you got free reign. So we'll put that in. And in the same way, we can move this chromatically. And then what's beautiful about this voicing is that all those notes stacked up make a nice fat G7 chord. So let's do that chord progression, but with the big fat E minor 9 voicing. I see the rain just fall on the beauty of it all. That's without the chromatic 251. This is the chromatic 251 where we put the half step in. I see the crystal rain just fall on the beauty of it all. And that same voicing is a lovely way to end it. Often when I say you're playing in the key of C, use this shape. Point at C, middle finger next to it, pinky's on G. That's how I like to play C, because then you can put any white note on the bottom. And it works, so you can play that Stand By Me again. But here, we've got this B7 chord. Some quick ghetto theory. It feels to me like we're in the key of E minor here. The relative major is G major. So if I use that thinking and I point at G, I put the little friend in on A, pinky's on G. Instead of playing B7 like this, I'm going to play it like this. And the way I think about that, instead of being like, oh crikey, what? I mean, I don't even know what the screen might even call that.
B7, sharp 9, sharp 5.
There we go. And you've got all the, I hear that scale in it. Because we've got this E minor scale there. One other way, instead of thinking of that as B7, is you can think of it as just with G, that shape with your thumb up one semitone. And I put, so. And when you're there on that 5 chord, or I won't go into those too much. I might do those in another video, the really posh things. But the idea is that carcass, starting out from I think the crystal ring does fall on the beauty of it all. And then slipping in the 7s. I see the on the beauty of it all. And then being like, oh, I can throw a little 2-5-1 in there, a little chromatic one. I see the crystal ring does fall on the beauty of it all. And then be like, oh, I'm going to put a big fat minor 9 there. I see the crystal ring just fall on the beauty of it all. And then we can put a big fat, I see the crystal ring. You see what I mean? You can start building up the layers on this skeleton that just the two of us and the wisdom of Bill Withers gave us. And if you ever thought about putting those jazzy chords in, I implore you to follow the wisdom of the very wise Will Shackleton, Guildford's own, Godalming's own, good Surrey boy, and coming from Dorset, he had a much better education than me. And he passed that on to me. That is the fruit of it. I pretty much built a job off it. So check that out. If you want me to go deeper, I might do another lesson on it. I'll just go the, because basically that's the carcass of the song, but you'll get to the bit where old Grover comes in. This is really crazy because I heard the chords. I was like, whoa, all these chords going on. And it's just a chromatic movement. Check it out. That's the melody, that with no faff in there. A way to spice that up a little bit is this idea again, I stole this from Dan Bingham a lot, is get my thumb, if you've got the ability, make that effort and stretch it over the octave line. A lot of people I see playing, they kind of feel there's an invisible wall there, but if you can get that thumb over, big things that help with that is body position. If you are like this, you ain't gonna be able to do it. So you're gonna have to move your seat around and give yourself space, but check out that. Instead of, I've really fattened it out by putting that D and the E in. And you can get, because it's chromatic, you can almost get away with anything. Using the idea of getting my thumb over the octave and pinning some different notes. Yeah, just the two of us. Hopefully you got a few little things. Thanks also for being there. I am going to just kind of jam around like I normally do in these videos over it, and you'll see me in a million videos rip this off in different ways. So let's go from the...